Right, Nelson Peltz is winning in the proxy battle with Disney for board seats because Peltz, a pension management company, has given the big thumbs up towards Nelson Peltz. And also ex-CFO of Disney, Jay Rasulo. Now, this is symbolic, and why this is such a big deal is when large companies give approval to a competing entity, it loses confidence in Bob Iger. It shows that people don't have confidence in Bob Iger. Wall Street, so on and so forth, don't have confidence. It also begins to sway, potentially, the minds of other shareholders, which will then, again, if Nelson Peltz gets on the board, that's it. The symbolism is crazy, because it really does show to Bob Iger that he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He doesn't have the confidence of the people he's supposed to have fiduciary duty of. So, quite a big win for Nelson Peltz. We're going to dive into this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notifications on. If you enjoy what I do here, guys, I don't say it often, but I've got merch. It's linked down below, mrhshop.com. Please do check it out. And also become a Patreon or a member for as little as $1.27. It matters. It really, really does matter. If you become a member of the channel, it helps a lot. So please do check out the links to all of that down below. Would appreciate getting them members up. So, again, articles like this. Disney is bruised in board vote battle as pension fund Peltz backs Nelson Peltz, an ex-CFO. But then we also got headlines such as this. Disney board showdown. What's at stake at the contentious 2024 shareholder meeting? We'll get to this in a minute. But let's see the big win from Nelson Peltz. So around 100 hours before the deadline for all Disney shareholders to cast their ballots in the acrid board clash, between the Mouse House and activist investor Nelson Peltz, one of the country's top pension funds, just rolled into cannons onto the battlefield. With 6.7 million shares in Disney, which is a lot, the California Public Employees Retirement System, CalPERS, blew a hole late Friday through Bob Iger and supporters' hard-fought efforts to keep the Ike Perlmutter-backed Peltz and former CFO from gaining seats on the board on April 3rd. Because this is it, by the way, guys. Wednesday is the deadline. All of the votes will be in on Wednesday, and we'll find out. We should know what's going on Wednesday. So it's big. But here we have this statement. CalPERS believes Walt Disney Company will benefit from fresh eyes on its board of directors and voted its company shares in favour of candidates Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo. This is John Myers, chief of the CalPERS Office of Public Affairs, and they told Deadline that. So while CalPERS says it will also vote for Iger and the likes of ex-Morgan Stanley boss James Gorman for the 12-member board, they're certainly intent on shaking things up, even as Disney shares have been rebounding in recent months. But why have they been rebounding? The prospect of someone else getting on the board? Yes? Yeah. So here's the statement. The pension fund's established voting guidelines focus on the need for independent corporate boards, a say in setting executive pay and increased transparency. 2 new directors who are qualified and capable of leading needed change in corporate governance will serve the Disney board well. And Disney had no comment because why would they? Why would they have comment? So there are 1.8 billion shares outstanding currently, and Disney may not have a lot to fear from just CalPERS, who is one of the top 40 shareholders in the company. No, but they do with the little guy, and this is what we get here. However, behind closed doors in Burbank, everyone is talking as this vote has now clearly become too close for Disney's comfort. Yes, and this is symbolic. It's the symbolism that matters. Even if he doesn't get on the board, it's the symbolism that matters. So the fact is, unlike many major companies, individual and small shareholders make up 40% of Disney's owners, and perception is power at this point. To that end, in a usual state of affairs, a number of shareholders with just a couple of hundred shares or even less have reported to Deadline about receiving calls. That's right, Disney are scared. They are calling around shareholders. Campaign-like material and other outreach from both Disney and Peltz, which is fair enough. I mean, Peltz is campaigning for the board seats, but if Disney wasn't scared of Peltz, they wouldn't be doing the same. They wouldn't be calling around trying to get people to vote for him. They'd be quietly confident. Just a couple of weeks ago, Perlmutter's Proxy Peltz looked dead on arrival. I disagree with that massively. It says this: Iger and the incumbent board had lined up backing from big names like George Lucas, Lawrence Powell Jobs, Michael Eisner, who, funnily enough, was ousted by Iger in exactly a very similar boardroom dust-up. But this is huge. This is pretty big. Yeah. I mean, they say this: stock value, one of the major thorns in Peltz's paw. His argument for action hasn't been helped by the fact Disney shares have gained 34% in 2024 to date. Disney stock rose 1% on Thursday, with stock market close for Good Friday. But again, that's because of how this is going. People are like, "Oh yeah, cool. He's getting close to being on the board. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing." So this article, very, very interesting, illuminating. So Disney board showdown, what's at stake? Well, what is at stake, just for you guys to understand? Shareholder votes for corporate board directors have all the suspense of a Soviet-style election. Most of the time, director candidates are backed by the company, and they run unopposed, winning elections and re-elections in a landslide. 2022, only 75 board-endorsed candidates at companies in the Russell 3000, less than 0.5% of almost 17,500 board members on the ballot that year, failed to get elected by shareholders, per an analysis by the Harvard Law School. So basically, you can just stay a board member, who cares? They are cyclical economies, voting to keep people in power. So for Disney, the 2024 shareholders meeting is different. So investors are voting on 3 competing board candidates, Disney's own 1-2 member lineup. Sure, fine. And then you've got 2 nominated Trian Fund Management, which is Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo. There's also Blackwell's, but I don't think anyone really cares about that. So Disney has disclosed that that expects costs for the board battle to be in the neighborhood of $40 million. Trian estimates it could spend upwards of $25 million on the campaign. This is just to get on the board of Disney. Disney are paying upwards of $40 million to battle Nelson Peltz. They don't have that kind of money to waste. Trian, $25 million. It's not bad. So Disney's 2024 annual meeting of shareholders will be held on Wednesday, and then we should find out as well what's going on. That will be announced, it says, where the votes will be tabulated and announced. So, I mean, again, does Nelson Peltz want to oust Bob Iger? He said no, but probably he does. What is Disney's response to Peltz? We've heard all of this already. The real thing is symbolism, and how much they've lost money. What are the chances Peltz will win? Well, this is interesting. It says here, while Iger has dismissed Peltz's proxy fight as a distraction, Trian could potentially pull off an upset and get the votes to secure at least 1 seat on the board. There's a lot of people voting for him now. There's a lot of people. So who's supporting Disney? We've covered that already. Blackwell's, don't really care about Blackwell's. They are controlled opposition at this stage. So, yeah, pretty major, ladies and gents. Pretty major, actually. Now, who are the individuals that we need to worry about? Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley, State Farm Mutual Auto Insurance, Geode Capital. Trian has 1.8%, but to the likes of Vanguard and BlackRock, yeah, they are small fries. But there you go. There's not much else really to say. This is a huge win, ladies and gents. A huge win for Nelson Peltz. Like, absolutely major win. This will shake things up. The symbolism of this is huge. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear it. Drop it down below. What do we think? Bets. What do we reckon? Bet. Will Nelson Peltz get a board seat? At least one. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And again, please do become a member of the channel or a Patreon. Would go a long way. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.